Hi viewers, welcome back to another episode of Talks with Sultan Temuri. Today we are embarking on a historical journey through time as we visit two iconic landmarks in Washington DC, Ford's Theatre and Petersen House. These are places that hold immense significance in American history as they are connected to the tragic assassination of President Abraham Lincoln. My wife, our friend, and I had the privilege of exploring the very location where one of the most tragic events in American history unfolded. Before we dive into our experience, let me provide you with a bit of historical context. On the evening of April 14, 1865, President Abraham Lincoln and his wife Mary Todd Lincoln attended a play at Ford's Theatre. It was meant to be a night of entertainment, but it ended in tragedy when John Wilkes Booth, a Confederate sympathizer and actor, assassinated President Lincoln. After the fatal gunshot, Lincoln was carried across the street to Petersen House, which still stands today for medical attention. It was here that doctors tried desperately to save the president's life, but sadly their efforts were in vain. President Abraham Lincoln passed away in the early hours of April 15, 1865, making Petersen House an important site in American history. So let's jump into our visit. Ford's Theatre, now a National Historic Site, is a beautifully restored theatre that transports you back in time. As we entered, we should feel the weight of history in the air. The very place where the President Lincoln enjoyed the play, our American cousin, was now before us. We learned about the events leading up to the assassination through the informative exhibits. The museum displayed artifacts, documents, and even the infamous Derringer pistol used by John Wilkes Booth. It was surreal to see these pieces of history up close.
Mississippi River, they dammed it up and levied it up, and then Waters Road had that was different. So a lot of good kind of big brain scholarly topics that I think would be applicable.
After our visit to Ford's Theatre, we crossed the street to Petersen House. It had started to rain, which added a somber tone to the experience, mirroring the events of that fateful night. As we waited to enter, we couldn't help to imagine the chaos and panic that must have surrounded the place 158 years ago.
The soldiers and doctors carried Abraham Lincoln into the back room. They placed him on the bed diagonally. He's too tall for the bed, 6'3 3/4. We would bump him up to 6'4. Beds are less than 6 feet. And he has a mortal wound, so the doctors know this. The ball entered, went through both hemispheres of the brain, lodged behind his right eye. So Dr. Leal was the first doctor in the box, 23 years old, 6 weeks out of medical school. He held his hand for hours. He knew that if the president did regain consciousness, he would be blind, and he wanted to let him know he had a friend, but he did not regain consciousness, died at 7:22 Saturday morning, April 15th. What else is bad about April 15th? IRS. Titanic sank. Boston Marathon bombing. Notre Dame fire in Paris. Turns out Lincoln almost went on the Donner Party, which ended in cannibalism in the High Sierras. That left out of Springfield, Illinois, on April 15th, 1846, and he was a lawyer there, friends with one of the leaders of the Donner Party. So, the next day was Easter Sunday, so preachers got the word. They compared the president to Christ or Moses, how he brought the Union to the Promised Land, but was not able to enter himself. A month before, that was John Matthews' room. He was in the play, Our American Cousin. His friend, who had tattooed JWB on his hand in his youth, John Wilkes Booth, was on that bed a month before. We had another famous actor here about a year ago. A lot of people think, John Wilkes Booth, I've been saying for years, was like a young Johnny Depp in Guess Who's Murder, Captain Jack Sparrow. During the trial, Fairfax Courthouse, 45 minutes away. Over with Amber Heard.
Yes.
He likes history, so he came here for a 2-hour, half-hour tour. And I was saying it right before he got here. So yeah.
Inside Petersen House, we saw the room where President Lincoln was taken after being shot. The atmosphere was emotionally charged as we gazed upon the very bed where he was laid and the efforts to save his life took place. The room has been meticulously preserved, allowing us to connect with the past in a powerful way.
He was 6'3".
The museum within Petersen House further deepened our understanding of the historical events. We learned about the funeral procession of Abraham Lincoln, the capture of John Wilkes Booth, and subsequent trials of conspirators.
Buffalo, yeah, I want to say, pulled out upper north side of
Washington to Chicago.
Chicago, Columbus, Ohio, Indianapolis, for Chicago, for final resting stage is Springfield,
Springfield.
state of Illinois, Springfield.
Our visit to Ford's Theatre and Petersen House was an educational experience, reminding us of the profound impact of the night in 1865 on American history. Standing in those historic spaces, we couldn't help to feel a connection with the past and reflect on the sacrifices made during this tumultuous time. I hope you have enjoyed joining us on this journey through history. If you are ever in Washington, D.C., be sure to visit Ford's Theatre and Petersen House to pay your respects to one of America's greatest leaders and to immerse yourself in the events that shaped the nation. Thanks for tuning in to Talks with Sultan Temuri, and I will see you on our next adventure.